That's how every video starts, actually, behind the scenes. What's up, guys? Today,
not ready. Start it.
What's going on, guys? Today we are finishing up some body work. We got a lot of crap to do to these cars, and we kind of said that we're going to dedicate this summer to fixing the body work, which is like half happened, half not. He's gotten some stuff done. I've gotten some stuff done, mainly on my roof, which is a living hell. You just need to finish. Actually, you are almost done, because you can finish your side skirts and then just put it back on and you're fine.
I gotta do my fenders.
Well, I mean, but what you've already started.
With what I've started, I gotta grind down some more, fill it in, sand it, prime it, and then it's done. So yeah, which I've told you guys about before. If you haven't seen any videos, you know, just. And
as we like to say around here, it's just a couple bolts. But this
not
time,
today.
It's not. It's just.
It's probably a couple clips and then a lot of sanding.
Just a lot of metal and hell.
If any of you guys have done this before, let us know, because share your experience with us.
So as always, we got our Falcons tent up in case it rains. It's kind of a crappy day out. My roof right now is sitting a little ugly, but it looks ugly. It's pretty much done. So there's a couple other spots over there. I just can't get this perfect. Over here is about as good as it's gonna get. And the plan for this, if you guys don't know, we're going to be wrapping the roof. What even is that? We're going to be wrapping the roof a gloss black, as well as rewrapping the trunk a gloss black. Trunk bodywork is, you know, pretty much done. This is a living hell. And then also we're going to do the typical fender rust repair on a Subaru, which they suck. Another thing is right here on my hood, got a couple little spots. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about this. If I can find another OEM WRX hood that is blue, I might just replace it instead of like fixing this. This hood is aluminum, so it's really hard to replace like little dents and stuff. Like it's never gonna be perfect again. So either I'd have to body fill it, which is just more of a headache, or just find like a completely new hood. But the thing is, I need an aluminum one, not a steel one. So this does not rust, and it's much lighter. If you guys do not know, a mod, or not really a mod, but a thing that we did a couple years ago when I first got the car, was we took out this little intake thing over here, and it goes down, it feeds into a big tube and then back up into the intake. Took that out to, you know, just make it less ugly. It sounds better, but I think I'm gonna replace this piece, clean it up a little bit, throw it back in. That way, inside the fender, since the intake is sitting into the fender, this part that's going to be sitting over here inducting the air will shoot in colder air, and then it'll be sucked back up into there, and we can still hear the intake. I think I'm going to do that, clean it up a little bit, and then I'll kind of block off like all this crap right in this area. Would you like to tell them what you just said?
Safety is the... Wow, these are getting foggy. Safety is the most important thing. I got some rot. Just took off a piece of rust and there's a hole.
That's tiny though.
Hopefully it stays that way.
You can body fill that.
Oh, of course I can. I can body fill anything.
You can body fill your mouth. So right now I'm moving my HID ballasts, and if you guys don't know, I've had probably every problem you can think of with these headlights. I hate them. So one of these days I'm gonna have to convert these back to the stock housing so I can convert them to LEDs instead of the bullcrap HIDs with these huge ballasts that take up a ton of room that you really don't need. I mean, look at that. You don't need that. You're supposed to be starting body work right now. So this sits in here. One of the biggest things that I have learned to have respect for is people that do all this work to their cars, and then especially inside the engine bay, they keep all their paint perfectly not scratched at all, with taking off bolts and putting on bolts. That takes a lot of dedication and time to do that, and I'm realizing that it's such a weird thing to think that you're spending extra time to protect this tiny little bolt that has let me just give you an example. So this little bolt right here is all scratched up and stuff. The other ones are okay, but that one's scratched up. And I know some people out there actually take the time to make sure every little thing in their engine bay is perfect, and I just have huge respect for that, because it's really hard to be patient with some engine bay stuff, because you're not really physically seeing it every day, but if you take time with it, I guess it pays off in the end. So that's definitely the plan for later on. When I have a second car, I can take my time with this car, really just make it perfect how I want it to be. Speaking of which, I am taking a couple bolts bolts. I sanded the rust off of them and I'm repainting them black. This is a rust reformer, so it's going to be able to stick to that rust and not let it seep through again. Out of all the things that we got at Wicked Big Meat, this is definitely my favorite. It's just good. It's just good. So I got the intake thing back on. I'm hoping that this will actually be able to just feed colder air coming in from the front at higher speeds just into the fender, and then the intake will pick it back up and suck it back in. One thing I do want to work on possibly later is figuring out how to make it super like waterproof. There's my fender liner kind of like half covers it, and I think it could actually do a little bit better of a job blocking out water that the tire would be shooting up. But for now, I think this will work and be just a little bit better. Alright, so first thing we did was we're going to take this bumper off. Obviously we took the taillight out. This will just make it easier to take out these two clips, and we'll pull the fender down to start sanding right here. In the last couple of videos we did address the places that we've been fixing on the body, but for now this is what we're focusing on today. I think I'm going to take one spot at a time. So we have a little bit right here, and then this amount right here. On the other side it's actually worse than this, which is why I've had that sticker that Calvin gave me a while ago.
It's 4 8mm bolts to take out your taillight, and then just the one main connector. This is a 10, or it is now. Looks like it's just a plastic thing, so... Oh yeah, look at that, look at that. That's it, it's off pretty much.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of...
You might, I don't know if you want to do the other side to get it lower, like to hang the whole thing, or just to take it all off.
Put like a microfiber in there to space it out or something. So as we thought when coming to sand,
get wrecked!
This is the small side too. The other side is going to be even worse.
I have a hole too.
Yeah, I think we're all holy over here.
Show them what I worked on. So pop the door open here, and see, I pretty much did this whole area right here. I taped it all off, and like there was a spot here, a spot here, and a spot up, like this whole area all the way down and under. So I got it all painted with rust reformer and primer, and here's the hole I'm talking about. So I'm gonna have to fill that, and then with like I might be able to use the fine stuff, but I might use the fiberglass stuff.
Bodywork is not fun.
Yeah, it is.
It is when it's done.
You said it's your like favorite thing, right?
It is if you have time.
Yeah.
If time is a thing that you're not struggling with, pick up bodywork. I've been sanding for a long time. I'm trying to get up inside of the fender. Up under here we're going to do some rust reformer as well as a rubberized coating, which acts as like an undercoat, and hopefully this will make it like a little bit more sealed off from the inside so it doesn't bug through like it did right here. So from the back is where it actually matters. When what happens is when the rocks or technically salt chips up in New York kick up from the tire spinning up in here, hits the wall, chips off the undercoating really slowly, and then all of a sudden once it gets to the paint, then it just starts eating away, as you can see, and then it's a living hell up in New York. So this is why you always want to move south for good car stuff. Just sprayed the first layer of rust reformer. It's going to be kind of hard to tell, but you can see how it's two different shades right there, black over there and like a brownish color over there. The rust reformer is looking really well, and then after this we are doing the undercoating. When we start the undercoat in just a minute, this is a Duplicolor rubberized undercoat. This is what we were recommended to use, and so we're going to try this out for the first time. I've never used an undercoater like this before. On my other car we did like the frame underneath with just, I guess, the rust reformer. I can't really remember what we did, but I think it was just a black paint that we did underneath. We sanded a little bit, covered it up. It did work, but I think this rubberized will help protect from the rock chips and really give it a good, nice undercoat. Alright, so one step that is not necessary, but I'm going to do for mine just to kind of finish it off, is you see this little chicken wire looking thing in there? That is going to help with the body structure when you put the filler. You kind of just put it inside the hole up against the wall. You try and fit it in there to where it covers the entire hole. You don't want to have it smaller than the actual hole. You'd rather have it bigger so it actually sits behind here. I'm also going to do one over here, and this kind of just helps support it, lets the body filler sit in there and really grasps onto it. This is what it looks like before. Look, I literally just took that tiny piece out. This comes in a lot of the body filler kits that you can buy. it just came right with it. So this is more than you'll ever need for little spots like this. Otherwise, if it was any bigger than these, you'd have to be just welding in new sheets of metal, which is not the case for today, and that would suck. So luckily this comes in handy. Alright, so I filled these holes in twice now. I think I'm going to do one more after this, and then I think we can move on to either the finer body filler or we can move on to filler primer, which will fill the holes, but I think we still need some more to fill in that gap to make it flush. Put some more of the stage 2 body filler on there. This is becoming a major headache. I hate this crap now. So that's how it is right now. I'm going to wait for that to dry, then we're going to sand it down, and then we can start the filler primer. I think it's pretty much done. Next step is the filler primer, and then obviously you can sand down the filler primer just a little bit to get it even more perfect. But I'm actually, this was technically so much easier than doing the roof, because the roof has so many spots in different spaces and they're just so much larger. This is actually a lot easier. I mean, you got to kind of take apart some things, but that is it's looking pretty decent. So we're going to be wrapping it up here pretty soon, a little bit faster than I thought. Easiest way to have a good painting surface is to have curved paper. That way when you're spraying the primer on or whatever paint you're spraying, it's not going to leave a harsh line, so that later on when it's all dry you can actually blend it much easier than if you had a harsh line. So you want to just grab a piece of paper, fold it up, tape it up, and you should be good to go. Alright guys, it is looking so much better. Body lines look great. It flows up into the normal fender spot. Once I put this back together, it'll be even better. So I think that is all I'm going to do today. That literally took, I don't know, it's about 6 o'clock now, and we started maybe 1 o'clock or something. So that is like a lot of work for us. This is my first time, besides the roof and stuff, this is my first time like digging into like my own body work on the car. I did take auto body in high school, so this is kind of how I know a little bit of how to do this, but I think the best way to learn things is actually just doing them. So look at someone else doing it and then actually go out there and do it yourself. So this is a living example of that. So a lot of you guys have been asking how to do rust repair videos, and we're kind of walking you through baby steps like this to get you where you need to go. So for small rust spots like this, it wasn't really too horrible. What I'm worried about is the other side. The other side was much worse, where I had the little sticker over there. That was a little bit worse, so we'll see what happens when we dig into that. But I think that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys do not know, we have a website up where you guys can go buy our stickers. It is wckdstreetmedia.com, wckdstreetmedia.com, as well as we are the same exact name across all social media platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Please go follow us there. You guys can stay up to date on everything that we are doing in current time. Like I said, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay wicked.